and welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions.
What about
this episode
some good
covers
old card
auto
marks?
insurance,
It's
officer
been a while.
ego, and international drivers.
He's
It is
different
brought
now.
to us by Daily Driven Exotics'
Well, we saw that.
For the
Well, we did see that actually. You're right. Wait, so why doesn't it say that I watched it then? Okay, what else then? It's different? I don't think it is actually.
That's your advice. Don't.
Oh, we didn't see this actually.
This interaction began as a minor traffic violation, but touches on many legalities that Mr. Fryer
a
often
different one. We
encounters
didn't see
while
this one.
stopped by California officers as a foreigner.
Can I see your license, registration, and insurance, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can't stop in the middle of the road. That's impeding traffic.
It's the same guy, that's all.
Okay.
You have the registration insurance?
Yeah.
Okay, look for the registration. This is registration?
Yeah, that's it.
How about insurance? You got that?
That's all there. That's one piece.
Thanks, Tanto.
Show me, because this I've never seen this one.
That's all of it. Insurance, registration, everything.
Show me where the insurance is, though.
What do you mean?
Point out what is what. This is a fancy car, so this shows that it's registration.
Yeah, and it also is insured by the same company.
Can you show me where the company is? Because I need to list that on my ticket.
Where the company is?
Yeah.
I believe it's all this. I mean, I'm not an insurance company. I'm not really sure.
I know, again, yeah,
I don't-
just off the get go check is I know what this guy's getting agitated. I know what a cop is like. What he kind of being weird and he's having a tone of instigation for no reason.
See that there's any insurance information here, so you'll be getting cited for that too, okay?
Here you go. Maybe this is it? This guy's in a good mood.
The insurance industry has long been a staple of the American economic system and has roots stretching back to the pre-Constitution era. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin founded the Philadelphia Contributorship for the insurance of houses from loss by fire, which is still America's oldest and continuously operating insurance company. It was Travelers Insurance Company who issued the very first auto insurance policy in the U.S. in 1898 to a doctor named Truman J. Martin of Buffalo, New York. That first policy gave Dr. Martin $5,000 in liability coverage and cost him $12.25. In 1925, Massachusetts passed the first legislation requiring automobile insurance for drivers as a prerequisite to registering a vehicle. For over 30 years, Massachusetts was the only state in America with a compulsory
5K was a
auto
lot back
insurance
then,
law
like,
requiring
massive.
insurance before registration. Under the
It's
financial
probably the equivalent of today's $1 million insurance thing.
responsibility article of Division 7 of the California Vehicle Code, drivers must produce evidence of financial responsibility for the vehicle that is in effect at the time the demand is made by an officer. However, investigating whether a vehicle is properly insured cannot be the sole purpose for a stop. The language of the law does not elaborate on the abundance of variables associated with the practical enforcement of the code, and it is likely that much of the procedure and technicalities of enforcement are subject to the interpretation of a court. Due to the vagueness of the code, Officer Torres was likely within his authority to issue Mr. Fryer a citation for not producing his proof of insurance upon demand, but whether or not the citation would hold up in court is questionable at best. Mr. Fryer eventually located the correct document and presented it to the officer.
So I found my insurance. It's sitting there on the hood of the police officer's
What's this
car.
music, man? Jesus Christ.
Hey, damn it, we got a little problem, man. Your license, you don't have a license.
I do have a license.
In California, you don't have a license.
Oh,
100%
not this
I do.
again, my
I've been
God.
through this like 5 times. My attorney's dealt with it 1,000,000 times.
I just ran you, it's not issued.
What's that?
I just ran you, and it states that none was issued ever to you.
Oh my
I'm not
God,
from California, I'm a
again.
tourist. I'm Canadian. You're holding a Canadian license. I also just gave you my insurance, and your aggressive manner is very unprofessional.
You didn't give me your insurance at all.
You gave me less time to look it up and figure it out. I'm not an insurance agent.
Okay.
This is a new car. I put it on
I
your
understand.
vehicle right
Hold
there.
on, let me talk now.
Okay, absolutely.
You kept insisting that the piece of paper you gave me had both. I go, I don't see it.
That's what I thought it was.
Okay. Well, then don't think. That's what people get into trouble when they start thinking.
What?
You understand?
Really?
So, you know,
Don't
you
think.
never gave me.
That's your advice. Don't think.
Okay, yeah, don't think.
The utter nonsense of Officer Torres's words speak for itself, and Mr. Fryer does an excellent job of challenging the officer's conduct while remaining calm and not allowing the officer's outbursts to intimidate or anger him.
Why are you so aggressive?
How am I aggressive?
You're like barking at me.
I'm not barking at you.
You just did.
You're putting words into my mouth.
I'm not putting anything in your mouth.
I'm recording you too, so okay? So you can put the camera down. If you want the recording, I can get it for you.
I record this for my own evidence.
Okay.
Officers all the time have misinformation. You're telling me I don't have a license. I have a license.
They just told me you don't have a license.
What's that?
They just told me you don't have a license.
I'm Canadian. You're holding my license. I don't understand how the system here is so archaic that this information's
There's another one. 529 Mike to Sound 51.
Hey, Dave, you can't stop in the middle of the road. Keep going. I let him know.
Fucking Dave, man.
Do you know which class this license is? A, B, C, or D? Or
ours is a 5.6. I also hold a motorcycle license.
I don't know what that is.
A motorcycle?
5.6. Is that a commercial license?
Huh?
It is not.
What color hair do you have?
Brown.
Color eyes?
Blue.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
What do you weigh?
235 pounds.
Wait, I was wrong last time. They do that.
Vehicle's registered to you?
Yes, sir. To a corporation that we own.
Too many numbers.
Excuse me?
Way too many numbers.
What is?
This thing. It's got too many numbers, the address.
What?
According to the police officer, there's too many numbers.
At this point in the interaction, Officer Torres is unable to ascertain whether Mr. Fryer has a license or not. He appears confused on how to structure the citation and is unable to process Mr. Fryer's address within the police database. Instead of deferring to a colleague or supervisor who may know more about the legalities of international travelers, Officer Torres decides to
Chad, this is one of those things, it's like zip codes or whatever in Canada. If you use them in the United States, what they do is that you have to put the zeros at the beginning or at the end, so you replace you replace every letter with a zero instead. You put it at the beginning, and you put the rest of or the opposite. Sometimes it works both ways.
Continue to process the stop unassisted to the best of his ability.
I've become accustomed to this a little bit
clerical
over the
errors
years.
can render a citation invalid, and given that Officer Torres was unable to make sense of much of the information he received from Mr. Fryer, there is a high probability that there are many errors on the citation he issued. Although it is unknown whether or not this particular citation contained errors, I'm making this point because it is always a good idea to carefully review a citation before paying a fine or contesting a charge in court.
I've already had this before. The whole, like, you don't have a license here.
Canada driver's license? You don't have a... Where's your California driver's license? Okay, so you need a California driver's license to drive in California.
No, you don't.
Are you a tourist?
Yes.
Okay, do you have your passport with you?
Yeah.
You actually do need it, just so you know.
No, you don't.
Okay, we'll find out right now.
Sure.
From Canada?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have your passport?
Yeah.
State of California?
Yeah.
You have to, you have 10 days.
For what?
For your license to be valid.
In 1949, one of the most obscure Geneva Conventions took place and focused on developing international safety standards for road traffic. A major element of the convention was the creation of an international driving permit,
Yeah, we saw
as
this.
well as
We know this already.
cross-border recognition of foreign
Guys, we know this. We saw
roads
this before.
freely. The law that the officers are referring to, California Vehicle Code 12504, only applies to non-resident drivers over the age of 16 years, but under the age of 18 years, who
We know
are a
this.
resident of a foreign jurisdiction.
You didn't?
Not only are the officers
Basically, I think what this means is that unless it's like some other shit or whatever, okay, you can, you can drive with a Canadian driver's license, especially since there's a treaty or whatever the fuck. Yeah,
There's mistaken about
it
the
applies.
California licensing codes, but they are also undermining the authority of an international treaty that has been standing for over half a century.
So you're gonna ignore me. Sign here.
No. I was just looking the other way.
Okay. You get a citation for impeding traffic.
Okay, and I apologize for that, just so you know.
No worries. I don't know if you heard me when I said, hey, you can't stop, you gotta get going, you gotta get going. You completely ignored me, that's why I'm talking to you right now.
Oh, I wasn't trying to ignore you. I couldn't hear you at first, and then when you said get going, I moved.
I said, you gotta get going. I go, you're blocking traffic. You're like, okay?
All right, I apologize.
No worries, take care of yourself.
Have a good evening.
After dissolving the tension and issuing Mr. Fryer a citation for impeding traffic, Officer Torres leaves the scene without further incident. Unlike some of his prior interactions with California officers, Mr. Fryer was allowed to drive away, despite not having a California driver's license. Overall, Officer Torres gets a C-, because although he was within his authority to stop Mr. Fryer for impeding traffic, he failed to conduct this stop in a professional manner and display a fundamental understanding of California vehicle code. Like so many of his peers before him, Officer Torres was unable...
I said B- because the other guys, they did something wrong that made him do an action. At least, what he did and said didn't make him do more and lose more time.
To check his ego at the door of his patrol car and allowed his emotions to cloud his judgment. Luckily for Mr. Fryer, Officer Torres chose to back down from the license dispute and focus on the impeding traffic charge. In previous encounters with California officers, Mr. Fryer had his high-value supercar impounded after a heated verbal exchange. Other than being mistaken about international driving laws and behaving unprofessionally, Officer Torres remained within the bounds of his authority. But a shred of patience from the officer would have significantly altered the tone and outcome of this interaction. Mr. Fryer gets an A+ for remaining calm and cooperative throughout the interaction and challenging the officer's logic and authority in a manner that was both peaceful and assertive. It is often difficult to balance verbally confronting an officer with remaining emotionally vigilant, but Mr. Fryer displayed a degree of professionalism that Officer Torres could take notes from. Mr. Fryer was able to remain calm through the officer's angry outbursts, but Officer Torres became I give him A, not A+. How am I a bootlicker, dude? How am I a bootlicker? Dude. You know cops are gonna be like that. Okay, so my standards is not based on the whole scheme. It's based on the already really low fucking view. Dude, hey, guys, it's an adaptive skill. It's an adaptive skill. Because most of these videos, okay, if you were to bet it on the main scale of what a cop should be or should do or how should act, these would all be D- and E and F. Let's say there would never be an A, doesn't exist, and then it'd be rare. It'd be rare. So I adapt the scale downwards. Man.